All right, we're back with part two of episode number 73. We went through quite a bit of the classes, but we still got a lot more to go. If you want to check out part one, check out the link in the description where we talk about KMSM. We talk about what the developers' kind of whole mindset was for these rebalances and all these changes. We went over V4 a little bit, so and quite a bit of classes. So check out part one if your class isn't here. We're gonna try to finish up the rest of the classes, rebalance, and we're gonna start with Evan. And it was funny with Evan because at the end it says elemental radiance. It was too high of a weight, just doing too much damage. So they tried to bring that down and bring everything else back up. And yeah, this skill is really strong. And so they minimize lines here, added hit counts there 6 times when target count is less than 3. That's new. So they obviously readjusted lines here. So it'll be no surprise Evans are going to be very good. And they're going to be one of the best mages in the game, right up there with Lumi. So won't be surprising at all that they're going to be very strong. And that sort of just balances out their toolkit a little bit. And the Mercedes, one of the best classes in the game, but they have the most lines. I think one of the top 2 lines in the game, but they're going to get hit a little bit with these caps, right? So the Spirit Chair, if that's what the real skill's name is, they're going to get, it's these first, second, and third souls. It's going to be, all of these are going to be changed, 70, 50, 30. So they're going to be hard capped there, which I think is going to be a buff to a lot of Mercedes, especially on the middle game, because these percentages at 15% were really hard to hit to begin with. So I think that's going to be a buff for them. Uptime is better. Reactivation cooldown is better. Hard ignore enemy defense. So yeah, Mercedes are going to be very good. And they got all these kind of chain skills to begin with, I think. But I think their main thing is this skill right here. Reduced casting time, more lines. Yeah, Mercedes are here to stay and at the top of the DPS charts for sure. Shades. Now, Shades, again, another support class that got hit with the support nerf. The biggest one right here was Soul Splitter. It was too effective, they said. So they've greatly increased Shades DPS to similarly increase spec reliance to other job levels. So yeah, the big one is right here. Soul Splitter cannot be reapplied for every 3 minutes. Okay. Well, that sucks, but it is what it is. I think that also helps for like solo content, right? So I think this is where the nerf is as well, because Split for like Covert and Mulong were very strong, and I think that's probably what they were aiming for more so than team content. And so that is a big nerf, but they got a lot of buffs obviously in other places. Spirit Gate is very good. True Spirit Claw is very good. These are all their V skills. Spirit Flow, their Hyper, Spirit Incarnation, and the cooldown gets immediately applied. So this is going to be up a ton. True Spirit Bond is very good. Death Mark, a little faster. That's their stun. And yeah, so nothing to their Spirit Claw attack, their main quote unquote filler. But again, buffs to all of these passive lines from their V skills. And Shade's going to be, I'm pretty sure, in a pretty good spot. But yeah, that split is rough. It's definitely rough for the team, but also for them in solo content. So that was the end of part 1 of the patch notes. Still part 2 to come. Blaster. I get Blaster wrong all the time. These are just words to me, to be honest. Bobbing and weaving. Remove skill canceled effect upon bobbing and weaving. It should have been removed during their overall structure. When alternating with Magna Punch, there was an error causing skill unintentionally fast, so this was fixed. So it looks like bigger buffs, reduced cooldowns per usual. Hit count went up. Gatling, Cooldown now applies immediately. Huge. Cooldown applies immediately. Cooldown applies immediately. So these are going to be, it's going to be pretty fluid, I feel like, for blasters, where they're going to get to bob and weave. They're going to get through all their skills, and their skills are going to come back up. And I think this hammer smash, if I understood correctly, is going to be a big one. The delay, reduced delay, the reapplication, the cooldown of 1 second. I think it just allows for bunker blast explosion, got even better. Bobbing, weaving. So it looks like blasters are going to getting the fixes that they've always wanted, the rebalances where it's a little bit smoother, a little bit more lines, and yeah, looks really, really nice for blasters. I think they're in a great spot. So Xenon. So it looks like additional damage hit count was changed. More intuitive numbers. We've bumped the hit count up significantly. So yeah, that's nice. Omega Blaster from 3% to 15%. Again, this is massive, right? Duration is longer, more hit counts. That's going to be very good for them. All of these skills look like they're going to be buffed. Ooh, party member, mag damage. That's nice. Reduce skill delay, skill improvements, buff durations, can be cast while jumping. This is a clone, so clones went up to 70%, so that would be nice for them as well. I think it was pretty hard for them to cap. 35% clone lines is really small. So again, Xenons may be in a better spot for sure. Battle Mages, instead of tweaking the weight of finishing blow, which is high, we decided to boost sweeping staff and B skill significantly, making them more instantaneously explosive when it comes to dealing damage. So yeah, exactly. Again, the same. This is nothing new after looking through all these classes, right? Emphasis on the V skills, and the finishing blow in this case is kind of the filler skill, which is why the skills get reduced. This is the filler skill. When I mean filler skill, I mean like the skill that when everything else is on cooldown, this is the skill you're going to use. It's not supposed to be your biggest damage dealer. It's supposed to be kind of just there to do something while your quote unquote instantaneously explosive skills are coming back off of a cooldown, right? And so that's where your damage is going to come in. And so you want to utilize all these big cooldowns, pair them together to get the maximum output. And I think that's what people are going to start realizing after testing and doing more bossing, that there is going to be a different, maybe a little bit of a change in shift of play style and gameplay. And I already see it a lot with the Paladin gameplay and Demon Slayers, and I'm sure across the board, right? The best players are already going to take advantage of this and understand how it works, and then others are going to, be stuck in their old ways and take them a while to figure it out. But once they do, they're going to realize the true potential, and maybe people won't be complaining as much as they, normally do. But yeah, looks like they got quite a bit of buffs. Sweeping staff, huge. Horus Scythe, Altar of Annihilation, Grim Harvest. Yeah, so I think Battle Mages are a good spot too. Wild Hunters, increased cooldown, while hit counts are buffed to mitigate the variance based. Okay, so yeah, so Wild Hunters are always in a pretty, again, getting the same treatment. Jaguar Storm. This is consistent with what we see elsewhere. Primal Fury. Max attack count 3. Gives you invincibility for 8 seconds. That's nice. Primal Grenade. Rampage, cooldown, hit counts. Skill delay reduced. So that's nice. This is all very nice. Like kind of just all these skills, the salvo and the hunting assistant kind of interrupted their rotation. So allowing it to be cast faster with less delay is just makes it more fluid and nicer and smooth. And so that's always nice. Mechanic. Guess they forgot to talk about mechanics. Again, no description like the Wind Archer, just straight up buffs. Straight up buffs. And I seen that Sephi did pretty good damage. He kept up with Zorbus for a long time. I think he almost beat him until the very end. But yeah, Mechanics seem to be very good as well. Just more hit counts across the board, right? And these are not just one lines, these are multiple lines, right? A good amount, double digits. So definitely reducing that. Slight decrease. The range, increase skill delay. And we're back with the Demon Slayer. One of the underrated things about the Demon Slayer buff was that they actually got rid of Insult to Injury and Curse of Fury. So one of these two, I think Insult to Injury, is the ability to passive heal, which was actually underrated. And one of the things that I found out with the Demon Slayer, wondering why I was not healing up. And so that was kind of a little bit of a change, but obviously they have a lot of healing. Just got to change the gameplay a bit, and also the lines that you get from stuns is gone away. But just looking at these things, lines across the board, buff durations lowered, line counts are huge. Everything gets buffed here. So the burst is going to be better with Spirit of Rage. Orthros is more of a, trying to be more of a burst, I guess, now. Cerberus Chomp is their consistent damage. Demon Impact, skill delay reduced. Love to see that. That's kind of their quote-unquote filler skill. Dark Metamorphosis, slight nerf, but not that big of a deal. Their cooldown, 90 to 120 seconds. It's actually an iframe. So a little bit of a thing you have to get used to as well. Boundless Rage reduced. See, this is what I was talking about. Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about right here. Remove 10% additional damage against stunned. And now you just get final damage free. And Curse of Fury, which used to be able to heal. And you don't get that self-heal. And you just get more final damage. So a nice trade-off. Demon Slayers, I think, are one of the better classes in the game. And check out Rubido's videos. He backs up that theory for sure. Their V4 and their just toolkit in general is just very, very S tier. Demon Avengers, due to Demon Avengers' ability to drain HP, anticipate an issue with upcoming content. Look at them planning ahead for the 0 Demon Avengers that play the game. But they've added the ability to recover HP and all these things. So more lines with Demonic Fury, Demonic Blast, can't ignore heal, block, debuff, and recover. That's nice. Dimensional Sword, big buffs there. Skill delay reduced. That's nice. Skill delay reduced. And HP cost is reduced by 90%. Love that. That's actually pretty good. HP recovery here as well. So they're getting some HP recovery. Demon Avengers, mainly node farmers out there, if there's any left out there. Bossing is just not their forte per se, but very unique class with that HP skill. Kaiser, nothing to say here, but just buff. Just buff, buff, buff. Buff, 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 buff. Buff, buff. Reduce there. Infernal Rush, Breath, I think pretty sure was no damage anyways. Stun, stun. So, yeah, just nothing to say here. Just straight buffs for the Kaiser. Greatly needed. Don't change the gameplay. It's going to be insane known farmers and straight lines across the board. Now, we're making consistent buffs to the cooldown of Chainless Arts. Improved usability. Skill delay decreased. So, again, combo classes, a little bit more fluidity, a little bit more, a little smoother with the skills and rotations and the presets. Probably goes hand in hand with the hold down skills for the presets as well. So that changed with the skill delay. So these are nice. Enemy defense, cooldowns, additional lines, thrash. There's a lot of summons and a lot of things that go on the ground. Hit counts, not big hit count changes, I don't think though. So that'll be interesting to see how they stack up. But a lot of skills and a lot of combos, and it might be like the Iran where just all of these slight buffs here and there are going to add up in the long term. So hopefully that's for them. Angelic Buster, similar boat with the Kaiser. This is what I remember I was talking about, how they were just the straight need to rebalance, bottom tier, lines lacking. Well, they're getting it. Sparkle Burst, huge buffs across the board. And I think it's a passive. No, that's Spotlight. So yeah, huge lines. Nice to see that. Cooldown, Spotlight is nice. Mighty Mascot is, I think, their like a summon skill. Supreme. So all their skills just straight up buffed. Soul Resonance, I think, would be a good buff here. That's kind of their burst. Hold down skill. Soul Seeker, cooldown, reactivation. So just more uptime on that as well. Those are just passive attacks as well. So they're getting lines across the board. Hopefully that balances them out. Angelic Buster is one of my favorite classes to play back in the day. Beautiful, mobile. Hopefully the lines stack up. It seems like they're going in the right direction at least. Kinesis. Cooldown is decreased to lessen the penalty from locked summons while improving DPS dropping depending on certain boss patterns. So, yeah, so that's always one of the biggest issues with like skills or classes like Kinesis that have place down skills, locked summon skills, that if the boss moves, you're screwed, right? So they clearly understand that now and are making adjustments accordingly, right? So more lines across the boards, more lines. There's a cooldown here though added for this skill, but you can see they added the lines accordingly. Right, reduce skill delay by 38%. That is a lot. That would be nice and fluid as well. Mental Overdrive, Mental Shock, Final Blow, and yeah, looks like they reduced the kind of the filler skills, but everything else got buffs to compensate. So yeah, Kinesis seems like it's going to be, they'll try to at least make it so that the damage is more consistent and less dependent on where the boss is placed. So it looks like Adele's got a little bit of a revamp as well. Addressed the issue of difficulty maintaining debuffs when crossing Grave Proclamation. Cooldown is changed to 0.5 seconds, okay? That's nice. Like probably just like a quality of life change for the Adeles. Hunting Decree increased. Ruin. Infinity Blade. Nice. Restoration. Target range is big too. Would like to see that. Target range. So not a lot to their Cleave. Their filler skill got a buff too. So just buffs across the board. Adele's. They actually had pretty good line counts, I think, before. So it'll be good to see how they stack up. And for farming, it's going to be even more insane. Right? Arcs. Impending Death. As for Impending Death, fire 5. Additional times when a boss present feature, it was an error where it could not be applied to Endless Agony. To resolve this, remove the additional firing feature while greatly increasing Endless Agony hit count. We also doubled Impending Death's hit count so that we'll have higher DPS despite having lower numbers when the Infinity Spell buff is not maintained. So, yep, kind of seems like the trend they're going with, right? Higher peaks, maybe lower valleys, but the burst is going to be insane, right? As they're saying right here, have higher DPS despite having lower numbers when the Infinity Spell buff is not maintained, right? So you can see kind of buff duration. So it's Infinity Spell is a big skill. And this Agony, hit count up. Hit counts across the board up, up, up. Remove the ability to summon 5 additionals if a boss must present. Hit counts. So yeah, looks nice for sure. Just everything got buffs. Everything looks smoother. Nothing got reduced. Nice. They've improved and revamped to allow for a smoother harmony attribute combos. I like that. So they've, again, smoother, more fluid. Another combo class kind of, I think it's, yeah, between the two kind of states. I forget what they're called, but I know Hoyoung is a little unique with that. They have the Sage and the Scroll. Sage and the Scroll states or resources, I think is what it's called. How you refer it, but yeah, reduced delay 33% by casting, more lines across the board, of course more IED, skill day reduced. So yeah, I remember playing Hoyoung. It seemed pretty fluid to begin with. So getting 33% change, these are probably their big V skills that I've never seen. So yeah, looks like they are going to get even more fluidity, even more lines, and hopefully more damage as well. Now Sia, controversial. I think. But we got 2 Sias in our guild, and they really carry the team. We really haven't been able to do much content without them. I mean, Sias are insane for the support. But if they're going to be honest, this skill was way broken, way overpowered, this hourglass skill. So unfortunately, it's getting nerfed. But fortunately, the timing is so that it may not matter as much. Like, seeing DPS explode like this might be nice for the Sia to get more damage. I know they're complaining. I think they were complaining about Sirius, like pre-casting it, if I understand correctly, prior to like boss spawning. That might be just something they have to get used to. That's unfortunate. But hit counts increased, duration reduced, shine buff duration reduced. This is the big one, right? Hourglass, you can't just proc it all the time. You got to wait and see. But they're getting line counts increases pretty much across the board. Here and there. Yeah. I know Sia is a lot of combos, a lot of things going on. But I think they've had it for a year and a half, Hourglass, and it's been overpowered, and not to say abused, but just such a something to fall back on. That is just no other class could do. And I think with all the other support classes getting nerfs as well, it makes sense that Sia is getting one as well. And the route that they are taking, right? And it only makes sense that all the support classes sort of get that same sort of treatment, and just forces people to understand mechanics and survive on their own and not rely on these just overpowered support skills. And I get it, right? It's a change to the meta. It's a change to how things have been done before, but you got to learn mechanics, right? You can't just be abusing an overpowered support skill like this just to, avoid doing things the right way, right? So that is my take on it. I get it. It's difficult, but you can't complain about the DPS changes that you're going to get, right? So Kanna, we have a Kanna on our perma, and they just take over the whole map. It's insane, the summon skills that they have, and we have some good Kannas in our guild too, and they're actually putting out insane DPS, even like guild content. So they must have really good burst. And yeah, this Vanquisher charm I think is really good. Extra lines, 20 lines, that's a lot of damage. And then all these spirit domains and stuff as well. Hit counts getting boosted, summons. They got a lot of summon skills that do a lot of damage for them. And no description needed, straight up buffs. And then this is actually underrated. I think people don't understand how underrated this is. Developer statement regarding clone damage, extra damage not being applied. We've removed the ability to apply additional damage to clone device to all free skills. Okay, but I think the most important thing here is there's some changes here that matter, right? I think the most important ones for mages is the unreliable memory. Pretty big. It's a boost though for sure, but it's just interesting, kind of similar to just because a lot of the mages proc things off of this, right? And proc big skills off of this. So that duration is actually going to be a buff from their unreliable memory. And this Blitz Shield one, I was talking to a fellow paladin, and this is sneaky big nerf. Blitz Shield is actually very good, and especially with fair trade. Like if you have fair trade going, this shield actually holds up a lot of damage. And now that it procs after 5 seconds, it's kind of almost a skill you cannot have on your pet because it just isn't there, or you just got to get used to not having it because it is not going to be the shield that you want it to be. It is not going to be saving you from fair trade. You're going to be eating at PEs. You're going to be eating deaths. You're going to be eating potions. And in training and in bossing, it's actually tough. It's actually kind of a big nerf where like I was doing fog training and I was dying, just keeping fair trade on, and I was dying and just slowly eating away at my life. And Blitz Shield is kind of underrated. It's going to be tough. I think you might I was thinking about manualing it if I had the skill wheel skill slot to use it. But yeah, it seems like a more on-demand, have to use it shield versus just like setting it and forgetting it and letting fair trade eat at it and things like that. So take a look at that. Like if you're wondering why you're dying or having a hard time surviving, it's probably because of that. Ethereal form, nice little 15% magic damage like that. But yeah, that is the end of part 2. Rebalances are done. We'll be right back. We'll get through the part 3 of the patch notes and see what else we can dive into. There's still a lot more. We'll be right back. All right, and we're here with the third part of this June patch update, patch notes, and there's still some good stuff here. I think besides the rebalance and the V4, there's a lot going on in this part 3. First one is the Arcane River level requirement decreasing, and very, very good for newer players, people that re-rolled, and kind of in the future, right? People trying to re-roll and coming back to the game, because Arcane Force, Arcane Power is something that really gates people from doing endgame content like Lucid and eventually Will and classes and bosses moving forward. So the fact that they lowered all of these down from 240 to 230, 235 to 225, these are actually big because these are all symbols that they were not getting access into until 230, 235, 240. And so now they can get more XP, they can get to these earlier maps, they can get these symbol drops, and it allows them just more stats, more physical attack, more arcane power, which at endgame bosses is more cap, more defense, more offense, just overall allows them to catch up. And so yeah, that's kind of the same thing for here. Monster EXP for each field remain the same as before. Looks like there was some adjustments. Monster levels adjusted according to new levels, things like that. But yeah, people are getting insane amounts of EXP, so it's nice for them. Daily hunt has been increased. Not really, I tried that. It's about the same for my level. Not really meant for me though. Equipment growth EXP adjusted. And here's another big one finally. Base max damage cap increase from 12 to 15 million. 3 to 3 mil across the board for everyone. Mag souls increased 4,200. So it wasn't straight 2 times the amount of cap, but I think my arc soul went from 1.9 to 2.8. And then I think this is obviously Lucid. So it's big jumps, kind of forcing you to, or incentivizing people to get off the old Root Abyss 1.5 times souls and get up to these other new commanders. Makes sense. It's a big gain. So it might be worth it with the right price. Also incentivizes people to do Gapple. Pretty smart on Xenon's part. Also, Starforce Liberation, just another route to get more stats, more cap, actually quite a bit. Guild attributes, free, I think it's from 150k to 500, so those are all good stats. And then just more gear, right? Incentivizing, forcing you to get more Necros. Like, look at this Necro gain. Level 50 is 2.3. Chaos, 1.3. So it's a big jump to get to level 50s. Necro. Chaos is not the route you want to take. My Demon Slayer is stuck in the mud. It was more cap, but definitely not the cap. Going from Chaos to Absolab is a big jump, but also very, very hard to do. So that is going to be a future year long down the line if I end up staying with Chaos, unless I get very, very lucky. So yeah, but yeah, look at this. Absolab level 60 got a huge bump, and yeah, 50 to 55 is nothing at all. Pretty crazy. So this is the route you want to take. Necro, you want to take Absolab. Chaos it's fine. It's fine, but just, not, it's fine for people. Free cap is free cap, right? Pet changes, level 30 to level 50. So if you were part of this, you made a lot of money. And if you have food, if you have these organic pet food, you made a lot of mesos selling those on the trade station, because people were buying, people were spending, people are pulling pets now, and it's good buff, right? So you get extra 350 times 3 pets, so 1k more cap, more 1k more attack, 1.5, 4.5 more HP, 300, 1,000. not 1,000. Yeah, 1,000 MP. Pretty good. Pretty good, right? I'm not there yet. I'm going to take my time with that, but that is something. And this is nice as well. You get more buff skill slots per pet. So there's also that people have been asking for a long time. So definitely, if you were looking to get pets, the M pets, this is the time. Try to be patient, wait for the deals, wait for people to pull, because these are going to be kind of much needed. V Matrix, I noticed that they have this sort of filter tab, search tab. You can select all. Huge for pulling nodes. I made a node pulling video recently, and this was actually clutch. Super clutch. They had this little red dot to show you which ones you actually could level. Loved that. Select all as well to extract all of them. So that was nice as well. And just better quality of life things that add up, that are very, very nice. Expanded the slots from 200 to 500. So reactivation cooldown, another thing that was nice. Actually, you can't unequip DS4, your special nodes too, like DS4, during this reactivation cooldown, which is something that is good. It's kind of annoying though, but it's good for Covert because people were swapping and stuff, and it was just, now you don't got to. Now your scores or what your scores are. Add it to the quick slot menu. Nice, up 10 to 30. Like to see that. And finally, an event. Woodland camping, an event. Coins. Nothing crazy. This one was pretty fun. You actually needed to kill a lot of these to get that 9,000. This one I think is just through auto battle. Free coins, tent, extra EXP for the permanent book. Yeah, so that's nice. Free EXP there. Coin shop. The damage skin is pretty nice. The outfits are pretty cute. You always want the Exalt Reduction Scroll. Good luck on these things. Nothing crazy here. Nothing, but the damage skin is pretty nice. The tent is pretty nice. Ice cream mount. There's some cute stuff in here. Sunshine gift event. Expected this for sure. This is always comes around this time. Anniversary is going to have probably another moon fragment one as well. Experience nodes here. Good value. These ones, if you want the profile, 20k crystals for that. Unfortunately, you can't sell it on TradeStation, so that's kind of exclusive to you. The mount and the damage skin, people post it. If you want it, buy it off a trade server. But this is what you get right here. The 80,000 like this. The skin is actually pretty nice. The Stone Lion mount is nice. It's kind of blurry. It doesn't look super clean as intended. They intended for that to be the case. But the damage skin may be something, if it's a good value, I might look into getting. But yeah, packages, pets coming through. Crystals for days. So many crystals. All these typical events. Oh yeah, this is actually a good one. If you didn't get to this far, if you kind of scrolled past it, Fair Trade, finally, it stays. You keep on having to re-equip it. That was so annoying, but now you don't got to. So love that. EXP increase. And there's just a lot of little bug fixes. Demon Slayer, Dawn Warrior, Wind Archer, just wording. I didn't see anything that really stuck out a ton or heard of anything. But usually just, there's a lot though. Whoa. Maybe I should look through this better. Yeah, I seen this one. I got that one. Yeah, little changes, things in there. And that's it for the patch notes part 2. A lot to dive into. Max damage cap, new maps, rebalances, V4. That's insane. And in part 3, I'm going to quickly just talk about my quick winners and losers, and then I'm going to go into some gameplay. My Paladin, kind of how I tested lines, mainly for my Paladin players out there. A lot of people have been asking me, so I'm trying to help them out. and show kind of how I do my rotation. But it may help you guys as well, because there's a lot of, like I said, throughout this whole part 1 and part 2, that there is going to be some gameplay changes, right? These skills are going to be heavily, your damage is going to come from that. So you got to maximize that. Pair it with your cooldowns, pair it with your DS4 and things that I'm looking for. I'll showcase all that stuff, my thinking, my thought process, how I'm looking at lines, how I'm trying to decide how my rotations are, my skill wheels, all of that, right? So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Part 3 is coming soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This was a fun one. It was long. Thank you for sticking with me. I'll see you guys in part 3.